Hi.
Hi, everyone.
My name is Mykell.
And I'm Justin.
And we're married.
And we're the Pattens.
That too. We're the Pattens. And this is our very first episode of Dinner with the Pattens. And as you can see that you guys are our only guests today, because we wanted to kind of do an introductory kind of dinner before we start bringing in people to share with you. And tonight we're having sushi.
From Sushi Dan.
Sushi Dan. Sushi Dan is very special to Justin and I because when we moved here to Los Angeles like 10 years ago, we went to sushi. That was one of the first places that we went to like check out the city.
Yeah, I feel like we were eating out in the big town.
Yeah.
And one of the dishes they had is a tempura fried sushi, which we're from the South, so sushi was rare. And then you fry the sushi, and we're like, oh, that hits all the spots for us.
And it was so good. And so we got these are called Hungry Dan's. If you are ever in LA or if you live in LA, check out Sushi Dan. Get a Hungry Dan roll. There used to be one on Sunset Boulevard. That was the one we would frequent. And we had like these aspirations that like when we win our first Academy Award, after the award show, we're going to go to Sushi Dan and just eat rolls of sushi. So it's a very special place. So that's where we ordered from. Now, we're not always going to order food. Sometimes we'll make it. Tonight, we're ordered in some Sushi Dan. So that's the story with Sushi Dan. But thank you guys for coming and listening and watching or whatever you're doing and having dinner with us. Kind of a little bit backstory about why we're doing Dinner with the Pattens. I think over the pandemic, one of the things, or a few of the things that we realized was that the most important things in our existence is food and people. And so we decided to combine the two. I think it was you that kind of came to that conclusion.
I just remember being bewildered at how like everything shut down because this virus was rampaging, and then the government added to that, and then it was just weird to watch everything that we had known disappear, as it would in a catastrophic event like that. And so I was just thinking, like, what is even real?
What even is real?
What even is that? And I came to the conclusion, I guess, like all through culture, everything changes. Housing and clothes and whatever. But people have always needed each other, and they've always needed food.
Yeah.
And the combination of those two things has always led to good things. So I was like, yeah, those are the only things that are truly, truly important.
And I really like food.
And food is good.
And he likes food more than I do. So I think that was why we were like, let's just do a podcast show where we just eat food and talk to friends.
Yeah.
So Dinner with the Pattens was born. And I know, those of you who don't know, we live in Los Angeles. We've lived here for about 10 years. And so a lot of our friends are in the entertainment industry. They're actors, they're writers, producers, directors, makeup artists, ... fill in the blank. So a lot of them will be kind of in that field. Obviously, we have friends and family who have nothing to do with the entertainment industry, and they also will be here having dinner with us. So it'll kind of be a smorgasbord of guests.
Yeah, ideally, we'll make more friends, and they'll do more different things, and we'll just keep growing and growing.
Right. We have business owner friends, and accountant friends, and lawyer friends. So
take that.
And real estate friends. So we'll have them all here, talking about their journeys and talking about their career experience and the lessons that they've learned, and it'll be good. I think I did a podcast, like I was a guest on a podcast, and at the end of the podcast I was like, one of the things I love about relationships is that you change by them, one way or the other. And my hope with this is that we can sit and have dinner with our friends and our family and be changed by the experience.
Yeah.
Or even just reminisce about how connecting with each other has changed us.
Yeah.
And hopefully, our guests at home will be changed as well.
Yeah, I think what's good for you guys, our audience, is you may not be able to taste the food, but maybe you'll learn about the food. But also, when you think about hanging out with your friends and having dinner, it's almost always a great time, and you always learn something. And we want to learn something, and hopefully you'll learn something, just like
Absolutely.
Mykell said. Because people are great, and when you get them eating, they often
and drinking.
are willing to share, and it's great.
Don't forget the wine.
And the wine is always there.
The wine's always there, whether you drink it or not. And, I am someone who I'm a lifetime learner, and I know I don't know everything. And so I try and interact with and connect with people who can teach me things and change me for the better, hopefully. And I want to extend that to those of you who are listening at home. I hope that we can interact with you guys and learn from you and have really cool conversations, because I'm just never done learning. And I know Justin's the same way. And I think that that's the beauty of relationships, is that we grow.
Yeah.
Justin and I have known each other for like 15 years, 17?
Yeah,
17 years. We've been romantically entangled for
about 10
of those
12.
And those of you who know us closely know our relationship journey is atypical.
Yeah. And it sounds so weird numbers wise, because we met in a Christian ministry
at a
in
Bible
college, and he was leading this Bible study that I joined. And we did all of this stuff for years together, just as friends and co-laborers on the campus, as they called us, which is great. We both love Jesus, but we also then learned we love each other.
That that love grew, and I think we were best friends for a while, but and then unpacking all of the things that we had to unlearn from our deep Southern religious roots to allow us to see each other as romantic partners. I know those of you in the LGBT community who are from the South understand what I'm talking about. Because, seeing our faith and then going, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
So how do I reconcile my relationship with God with my love for this man? And it was a journey. It still is a journey, but I think that we've learned a lot about ourselves as individuals, our relationship to God.
Yeah. And we've definitely, as the saying goes, we're out of the forest in terms of...
We got married.
Yeah, we got married.
I hope
and
so.
We still believe God blessed that. There's delighting in that. And so...
I think that one of the things that I realized in our relationship journey was that God being, love, God being love and loving me gave us this gift of this relationship so that he can display that love. I look at Justin and I go, he is a physical manifestation of God's love for me. And that was enough for me to go, okay, all of this other junk shit is really what it is that we kind of tack on and call it Christianity or religion or whatever. It's just extra bullcrap that is meant to keep us confused and clouded about who we are as people, as individuals and collectively. And I just had enough of it, you know, and I think that it was clear to me that my relationship with Justin was both, like I said, a clear manifestation of God's love for me, but also a presentation of like, oh, I am more than what people have told me I am. I am. My relationship with God is more than what people have told me it is.
Yeah.
And so let me explore that. And so since that, I think as our relationship has blossomed, that has been an exploration. But even my faith has been one of exploration as a result of me realizing that God is bigger, I am bigger, and we are bigger than what we've been fed.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful. I love it. I love us.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it's good.
How's the sushi?
You know what? It's been a while since we had Sushi Dan, because like I said, it changed ownerships on Sunset. But we found another restaurant that's Sushi Dan, and it's so good.
It's so good.
Like
this. What ours is a spicy tuna, so that's great. And then it's tempura fried, so it's still a little warm and it's crispy. It's fantastic.
And also, when we first started going to Sushi Dan, I had never had edamame, so we have some edamame here too. And
we're really from the South, guys.
I was like, edamame, and so we're eating edamame, and I'm thinking I'm like hot shit, and it's just soybean.
Everybody was like, it's just soybeans.
It just seemed soybean. And I was like, but like, where is it in the South, guys?
It's not soy, it's edamame.
But it's so good.
And I will say, we have, in our 10 years out here, we've definitely explored a lot more in terms of food, because
yeah, for sure,
Los Angeles is a great place to do that. So we're not food babies anymore.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna sound real basic though, but it's pizza.
Pizza.
Anything that's bread with other things on it or in it, like empanadas, like calzones.
You could have just said empanadas then.
No,
That sounds more interesting.
yeah.
Or like
Let me just wrap some food in bread and I'm good.
a sandwich.
Could be.
I would say mine is mine's probably paella. Just because it's so flavorful and exotic. Because like, where are you getting paella? We live in LA, and like,
Yeah, there's really I haven't found
a
good
paella
out
restaurant.
in the wild.
Yeah, like I make ours at home because we went to Barcelona a couple of years ago, and that's all we ate because that's all that's there. I mean, there's other things, but like every restaurant has paella, and so I was like in heaven, and like figured out how they make the crispy base and all of the different kinds of meats that you can put in it. And so when we came back from Barcelona, I was like, I'm making paella as much as I can. I love paella. Or like, there's other food when we were. I don't want to sound like we're like world travelers, but we're world travelers, guys. But we were in Thailand one time, or we lived in Thailand for a while, and my second favorite dish, or like it kind of goes back and forth between that and paella, is this dish called plasam rot, which is like, I don't know if it's baked or steamed fish with all of these herbs and like spices on it. And I've tried to recreate it here, and
It's so hard.
it's so hard.
There's things that they've got there, and
Yeah.
the waters taste different, and everything, like it all works really well there, and
like,
it's hard to replicate.
It's
here.
weird how difficult it is for me to replicate it, because you can get blossom rot on the street, like at a street market. Like the first time I had it, a Thai friend of mine was like, you have to try this, and he ordered blossom rot, and this fish came back full head, tail, everything. It had a mountain of seasoning, or not seasoning, herbs and like spices on it, and was like Blossom wrote, "Here it is." And I was like, it has a head. I see the eyes. What am I doing? But it was probably the best dish I had in the entire time that I was in Thailand. And so every time I try, I'll go to the fish market here and try and recreate it. It just doesn't do the same thing. It's good, but it doesn't do the same thing. So probably on an episode, I'll try and recreate it, and I'll be disappointed, and you'll get to hear me be disappointed.
So tune in.
So we said we met in college at a Bible study, and I'm curious. What?
Just make sure everything's still going. Since there was a little stumble anyway, we'll just cut around all of that.
Anyway, so we met in college a number of years ago, and at a Bible study, as we said. And I'm curious what your first impression of me was.
Well, I had seen you in the dorms, and I was always struck by your fashion, because we were in South Georgia, and Mykell is an Atlanta boy at heart, but he's also been a model multiple times over. And so we're walking around in, these sweaty South Georgia streets, and everyone's dressing kind of accordingly, but he always dressed elevated, as if the sweat didn't affect him.
It did. But baby power.
So I had seen him, and I was like, who's that? That's wild. When I met him, I'll give you a little preface. I was actually following a girl that I was interested in to this Bible study. When I got there, she had, all the seats around her were full. So I was like, well, I'll just sit somewhere else then. And I ended up sitting right next to him. And he was a professional campus minister at the time.
No.
And he was like, oh.
In training. I was still in college. Don't make it sound like I was something like...
I meant pro, skill level. And he was like, oh, let me introduce myself. Let me talk to this guy, see where he's at. Does he want to join a Bible study? Mm-hmm. And so I kind of said yes, because I was interested. And God was, pulling me along, but I was also very stubborn. So then my real first impression of interacting with him was I didn't ever want to leave my dorm, and he kept coming to my dorm trying to get me to leave. And he persisted, and eventually I did, and I loved it. But I was like, I would be sitting there playing on my PlayStation 2 at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he would have been there for 2 hours just watching me play, and I'd be like, who is this guy?
Here's the thing. I was very, very, curious about him, because I was like, here's this handsome white guy who came from people of means, and he just kind of shut himself in his dorm room all the time. And I was like, where I come from, well-off, handsome white men run the town. So why are you, hiding out and not, living in your privilege? And so I would just kind of...
I guess I should have been living in my privilege, huh?
I mean, I guess in a way you were, because you were like, I have the privilege to stay in my dorm room and play video games and eat Dominoes, but... or Papa
Not
John.
Dominoes, zebra cakes.
And zebra cakes. But I was like, what's this story? What's his story? What's going on? And I was trying to coax him out of his dorm room. I would be like, hey, it's 12:30. A bunch of us are going to Steak and Shake. You want to come? And he would be like, I'm just going to hang out here. And I was like, no, come hang out with us. I have lots of friends and they're really cool. Or...
I didn't believe it.
Or we're going to go play Capture the Flag in the park at night. A bunch of us are doing it. Come hang out. And he'd be like, and I was like, I don't understand. Everybody wants to be social in college. So come be social. And eventually he conceded.
Yeah, I'll say I had a lot of trauma I had to work through regarding social situations. But I'm grateful that Mykell persisted and helped me work through that, even if it was by force sometimes. It was good. It was always good. I was never upset about it.
Good. If nothing, I am persistent.
Yeah.
And I want to put the disclaimer that there was absolutely no romantic inclination at this point. I literally was just like, come hang out. It's fun. And he was like, no. And I was like, I don't understand. Especially because he's the one who showed up at the Bible study. So I was like, most people who show up to these Bible studies either A, want to learn more about God, and or B, want friends. Because it's college and making friends can be scary. And he was like, about both. And I was like, I don't understand why you showed up. Obviously, years later I found out, I was following this girl and I never saw her again.
Never saw her again. Whoops. God had a plan.
There was definitely a divine plan in place.
So when did the romantic inclination start?
For you. For me?
Because I think we started getting close the first time we were in Thailand.
I think
closer than just good friends. We had been good friends because we connected pretty fast once I finally kind of started coming out of my shell.
Yeah,
as friends, we were
connected.
We're on the same wavelength.
Absolutely. I think the first time that we were in Thailand, I don't want to say that the first time I went to Thailand with you.
Yeah.
I don't think I was thinking anything romantically still. I just really was like, this guy is really, really cool and I like being friends with him. I think I wanted to be better friends with you. But then I think I feel like when we moved to Hudson Docket, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. Because we had moved into a apartment unit, just the two of us, with the intent of doing ministry.
To the underprivileged youth of the area.
Yeah. And
we were in the hood. We lived in a project unit.
You can definitely say that. But it is true. It was a housing project.
He was hesitant to say it because whiteness.
Yeah.
But we lived in the ghetto. We lived in the hood. We lived in the projects. Hudson Docket, I don't think it exists anymore in Valdosta State.
Yeah, I think it's high-end apartments now because that's what white people do.
But we lived there because we were like, we want to just be in the mix and give of our time and our energy and our resources to people who may not have it, but not show up on a Thursday, but just be there. So we moved there and we lived there for 2 or 3 years. But in that time, I think
it was living together with no roommates at all.
Yeah.
We were able to start feeling feelings, I think, that...
But it was still very much...
had kind of been there, but they weren't...
It was still very much
Yeah.
This is... What I'm beginning to feel isn't right. So I still kind of pushed it aside, more or less. And then... and then one day I was like, I think I'm moving to Los Angeles. Completely without any context or conversation with Justin. I'm moving to Los Angeles, I think. And he was like, what? I've been thinking about this for months.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me? And so we moved in together, or we decided, okay, well, we're just going to go to LA together. And so we went to Detroit and filmed this really cool thing for a couple weeks. And then we got a U-Haul and drove out here together. And I think moving to Los Angeles away from Southern respectability politics and things like that allowed us to kind of look at how we were feeling for each other with new eyes.
Yeah.
I think when we moved to LA, I think it was the first time that either of us had seen out gay and lesbian and bisexual people living not oppressed and fully in their truth. Not to say that there wasn't people in other places, but there was always this air of oppression, especially in South Georgia.
Yeah.
Like, we knew gay people in South Georgia, but they lived in this, like, state of oppression that, as a black man, I was like, I don't want any more of that. And so, but then out here, I was like, wait, people are, like, living fully in their truth, and they're happy, and they're full of joy, and, like, they're putting together, like, their romantic inclinations with their faith journeys, and like, it was just really cool to see, and these inclusive church homes and all these things. Like, it was just really cool, and I was like, maybe there's something that I need to be processing more of. And over the course of our time out here, we allowed our romantic feelings to blossom, and you know, we got married in 2020. So, you know, obviously there's a lot of bumps and bruises and ups and downs in that along the way. I don't know how much we want to get into today. Obviously, we're open
Try and
books.
Keep it a little light.
Yeah, like, we'll keep it a little light, but yeah, I think I don't regret any of it. No. I'm not someone who regrets things anyway, but I definitely don't regret us.
No, not at all. And the journey has been good, as painful as it has been, and it's also been so much joy and happiness and adventure.
And one of the things that I love most about our story is that we did kind of carve out this space for ourselves, for us to kind of figure it out without the voices of other people, whether it's friends from back in Georgia or family. Nobody knew what we, like, people obviously speculated, but nobody knew what was going on over here.
We were just two single male roommates for a decade, that's all.
But I think that it allowed for us to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, thoroughly. And so then when we were eventually came out to our families, it was very concise and very like, this is what it is. We love each other.
Yeah. And my mom said, duh. And I was like, okay.
My mom cried. But
yeah, like little, if you're out there and you're listening and you're dealing with something similar, maybe find a way to get a little space.
Space is good.
Even if it's just moving into your own place for just enough time to really figure yourself out. Because not cutting the voices out, not cutting the people off, but like getting the voices out so that you have some quiet is always a good thing.
Absolutely. And I think, because you'd be surprised what you find.
Yeah.
And I'm not
also,
saying,
you don't have to be this super strong queer person when you're coming out. Like, it's okay to be scared, because we were scared for years.
We were scared for
years.
It
took us quite a while.
I was scared even when we did finally come out, because when I told my mom and she cried and was like, I don't understand, and all those things that, you know, parents sometimes do, I then would follow that up with, I want you to tell Dad, because I can't. I don't know how he's going to react, and so I don't want to tell him. You can tell him. And she told him, and he was like, I don't understand why you felt like you couldn't tell me. I'm going to always have your back. And he said all these things that really made me feel good, but also made me confused as to why I was so afraid in the first place. Because he has been such a pillar. I mean, like, he along with Justin's dad officiated our wedding. So it's a beautiful story and a beautiful, not ending, but a beautiful new beginning.
Yeah.
And I think while there are reasons for people to be scared or
absolutely
nervous,
be smart.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in a dangerous position.
Yeah.
But also just don't feel like you have to come out with rainbows and shooting stars and all of it. Like, just do what feels right when it feels right.
When it feels right. Because we told friends in Los Angeles first.
Yeah.
And kind of like
kind of warmed up to it.
Yeah, like we enjoyed the liberty of that for a while, and then told our families. But like I said, it helps that we were 3,000 miles away from everyone that we were related to.
And hopefully we're moving towards a society where it's not so.
I think we are.
Yeah, I think so as well.
But anyway, these are the kind of conversations that we'll have on Dinner with the Pattens.
But with another person.
With other people who are way more interesting than we are. So, stay tuned. But I think we're going to probably get some more wine and
finish our meal.
Eat some more sushi. But thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
This is our first episode. Tell us what you think. Tell us if we did good. Tell us what we need to work on. Love you guys. Go have dinner with someone that you care about.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.